And the Arab Spring is quite telling, because this is what the image on your right is what the New York Times wishes for Egypt. I don't know if it was going to wish a startup summer, and we didn't have a startup summer, of course. And this is again very much taken on board as an issue of the youth being in charge of this kind of revolution. I have very problems with that, because this is the basic operation of the capitalism. It's a system of regulation that creates social and environmental and economic disasters, and then hides them constantly under the rug of culture. For these people, to be clear, I'm not questioning the intention or the choices made by those portrayed, those appearing in this picture. But this is one aspect. This is one aspect of this representation. Revolution for them was something much more closer to a lifestyle or a generation that is different from the old one, and we know how different they are supposed to be. What they do for them is to mention the struggles of the workers around the countries, which I think are crucial. For them, it's not important. And this is even more simplified and even more evident with the cover they did for the protester in the occupying movement, where the class signifier is conveniently removed from the picture. And again, it's something like a multicultural nuance, where the cloth on the mouth can also resemble a hijab, basically. And this is the quote from Negri, which I was talking about, and where he says that this kind of force is becoming hegemony, and it's not making all the kind of other practices still disappear, but they are reconfigured. And this is basically how, for me, can be analyzed the role of the new media. This is diffusion in an uneven way. These are techniques, practice, skills, specific knowledge that have started to become increasingly familiar. Again, distributed in an uneven pattern, but this is also a problem in other countries, not only in Egypt. And this is again, it's techniques and tactics and skills that have to do with the manipulation of information. And when you do manipulate content, you are building archives, okay? Because we are often told that with the boom of this kind of information economy, we are living in this kind of, again, dreamland of dreamland where all information is in our hands. We can know everything, we can do everything. The downside of this is that we live in reality, we live in an information overload where we are surrounded by noises, and we are constantly at pains to making sense out of noise. This can only be done by a systematic filtering out, selection of the information. And this is done because we now are provided with the means of either storing information and capturing information. And I think this is where the political significance, in my view, lies for the social movements, by and large, and especially in Egypt, because they have been reappropriating and using these kind of technologies to construct knowledge, to organize knowledge, to build archives, and to manipulate the images. And there is a very strange connection, but useful around the notion of archive that has been considered central both in post-colonial history, in post-structuralism, and also in media studies, especially for digital technologies. Scholars such as Mark Poster, like Marvich, have identified in the archive a sort of paradigmatic figure of websites, blogs, and so on, because they constantly filter out information. Because they basically put emphasis on the capacity of control that the archive as an instrument has. In fact, they quite right. Colonial history is a history made of the domination through archives. The colonization is a process that is achieved especially through the creation of knowledge about the colonized subjects. Okay, and these were highlighted by, again, scholars studying the decolonization process of countries such as in Africa by and large. But we can talk about the birth of Egyptology, and the archaeology has been basically created as a colonial project. And the reader is one who focuses on and ties inextricably the link of power and knowledge in the notion of archive, because it derives from the Greek word archive, that was a house where all the documents needed for the management of the Respublika, of the polis, were conserved and managed, and most importantly interpreted under this slide we can see that information and keeping memory might have been much more important to the development and the building of this sense than instant communication of the overabundance of information. This is evident in all the websites dedicated to the commemoration of martyrs. It's quite self-evident. I just mentioned London Sabbath, where the martyrs are. And please note that this is an action that is geared not toward the past, but toward the future. Remembrance is a political act geared toward the future. It's also evident in other websites like Mosirin or the media library created by Mohammed Ali and Gen 35. It's also evident in the techniques used to access the media space. This is again evident in the hacking environment, where techniques such as cancelling, violating the website are used as a political display of force, and this is where the political scene is. And that's basically I want to conclude. This is an example of manipulation of data that gives rise to proliferation of meaning. And I will leave you with a quote from a protester, and this is going to a book from 2008 in Greece. And this was dedicated to an actor that exploded when a 15-year-old Alexis Grigoropoulos died in the clashes. And this is basically the inspiration of the book. And I think that you more than me can relate to this book.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.